as we see, this is going to start to play out. Any questions? I see some kind of confused faces. No.
I'll catch them.
Okay. All right. Okay. There's lots of things you can do to increase this number, because that's what you want. You want this number to be high so the AGI can be as low as possible. Your income is your real income. Your AGI is your tax income, which needs to be low. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is, someone talked about standard deduction. I heard it here and here. Okay, so you might have heard someone say something like, I'm going to donate all my clothes to charity so I can write it off my taxes, or I'm going to, buy a bunch of houses and deduct the interest off of that to save money on my taxes. Sometimes that doesn't work. Because when you take a deduction, everyone is entitled to a deduction based on their filing status. So if you file single, you're going to automatically get a $6,300 deduction. These are based on 2015's number because I don't have 2016 numbers memorized. And then married filing jointly is about $12,600, and then this number's like $9,300. So you can see, like, even if me and my boyfriend were living together with a kid, we're almost better off getting married just to get an extra $3,000 taken off of our taxes. I mean, so it's like, oh, well, if we take the $3,000 and get married, it's kind of like, okay, well, what do we do? So this number will go down. I have the calculations right there. Now, you have the choice between the standard deduction, which is this number, standard. So as long as you file single, you automatically get the $6,000. Or you can do an itemized deduction. So when you think itemized, you think of a list of shit that people have and they just like put the prices right beside it. So that's what the itemized deduction is. There are really crazy, confusing rules about what you can and can't donate and how much you can take off. So people think that they can just drop off $10,000 worth of stuff and that it'll perfectly go like this. And the answer is no, because it doesn't work that way. The IRS has limits to what you can claim as your itemized deduction. But typically a person won't itemize their deduction unless it's higher than this number. So if you only donated $300 worth of stuff, and that's your only itemized deduction, then just stay with the standard deduction because it's a lot higher and you're entitled to that. So I'm just gonna minus this out. And, oh, not yet. I'll just minus it later. So now we have our deductions. I also heard someone talk about exemptions. Who said exemptions? Nero. What does that mean?
Personal dependency.
Personal dependency. What else?
Honestly, it's just something I've heard over the years.
Okay, something you've heard over the years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar to, well, it definitely involves having a kid. So let's go to the single example. Because one person is in his household, he now gets to take off another $400, and that's his personal exemption. Since you are taking care of yourself, we're not going to make you pay taxes on another $4,000 worth of money. Oh, that's so nice of them. Here, because they have a kid, so they have another $4,000 exemption plus the one they have. So Lola gets $4,000 off, and then Jatin would give her another $4,000 off. So that's $8,000. So we're starting to see she's starting to significantly benefit because she has a kid and because of her filing status. So everybody go have babies. Okay. Don't do that unless you're ready. And then the married couple. How many people are in this household?
3.
3. So what should this number be?
12.
12. Very good. So you see, like, even from here to here, it's a lot of money. So this is about it. Once you minus all of this stuff, again, there are other things that are going on. We're not going to get to that, but a very simplistic example. Once you minus all of this out, we have that. Okay, 69,700 and 55,400. So 69,700 and 59,400. I didn't put the numbers here for head of household, but just know that it's going to be somewhere in between. So what's important? Everybody brings in the same amount of income, but for tax purposes, because they're kids and the way they filed, he makes a lot more money than the married couple and their kid. So who do you think is going to pay the most taxes? Him. Yeah. So what did I tell you? Go have kids. Now, the way you calculate taxes is not as simple as I made it out to be earlier, because you might have heard the phrase tax brackets. I know Ludacris is like, y'all rappers ain't even my tax bracket or something. He said like that. I just remember that's the first time I've heard that. So it can get really complicated. So I'm going to show you a very simple version. So depending on your filing status, so married filing jointly, head of household, or single, depends on the bracket that you're going to be in. So for single, it may say if you earn $0 to, I'm just going to put 10,000, then you're going to pay 10% of whatever this orange number was. So if my final number was $6,000, the real taxes that I owe is $600. But if my employer took out $1,000, they owe me $400 back. Right? Is that everybody starting to get there? I'll do another example. Now, this is where it gets complicated. Again, I'm cleaning these numbers up because this number would really be 9,748, some crazy number that they feel is supposed to represent something. So I'm just going to put 30,000 here, for example. All right. Let's say you make $20,000. Like this number, I'm sorry. Let's say that this number was $20,000 after you took out all the itemized deductions and all the personal exemptions. $20,000. Okay. You would think, okay, 20,000 times 15%, that's my taxes. No, that's not right. It's so weird. It's 10% of the first 10, and then 15% of the difference between this and this. Very confusing. Very confusing. You would need a calculator to calculate that. You probably just need an expert because it takes a lot of work. I don't even feel like doing it sometimes when I'm in the field. But something that you will always know, you see that this number is 15%, and you know that this orange number was 20,000. So you could do this. Okay, this number is between the $10,001 and $30,000 range. So I'm never going to rephrase that. Following this simple pattern along, assuming that there's nothing else going on, because there's a lot of other stuff that be going on, I'm never going to pay more than 15% of 20,000 on taxes. Because if I actually did this, because the first 10,000 is 10%, the next 10 is 15%, then you're probably only going to end up paying 13.17% of the 20, because not all of it goes towards 15%. So you can just simply say, I'm not going to pay more than 15% of 20,000 for my income. That makes sense? Or you can sit there and calculate it out. But who does that? So who has to pay the most money in taxes?
Single.
Single. It's unfortunate because we're all single in here. Or y'all can just start dating and get married. It's up to you.
Hey.
Right.
Am I old enough?
So, were there any last minute questions about anything?
I got a question. I had an internship this summer and I hadn't paid my taxes yet. So do I call them and ask for the W-2 if I don't have it?
Good question.
Seriously.
All companies were supposed to have sent out all W-2s by the end of February. So if you haven't got it, you need to call them.
Call. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And also April 18th is readily approaching. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's do an example. So, here. Walter earns, I'll read it out. Walter thinks he's a big shot because he's making $60,000.